is Chuck Worley with the 757 House Whisperer Show. Here live with a couple of my co-hosts that I'm about to introduce everybody. Tonight we are talking about your houses, problems with your homes. I've got a couple common questions that we are asked a lot about plumbing and some other stuff specifically. I know Mike always has something ready. We do have a trivia question that I actually asked last week, but then forgot to tell the answer. So we're going to ask it again because it's very interesting. And Damon had some past experience in air conditioning, so he's trying to give me the answers offline to see if he can figure it out. But we got some great calls, so I just want to remind you guys, 627-7979, to call into the show. Please do not do like they did 3 weeks ago, and we had 3 people call with 30 seconds left and 3 minutes left, and we just cannot get to those calls. So on the front of the hour, 627-7979. Call in with any questions you have, from gutters to roofs to crawl spaces to anything having to do with problems in your house. I like to remind you guys that you're not just answering questions for yourself, but you're actually helping thousands of other listeners with the same problems or similar problems in their house. So me, Mike, Cindy are here tonight. All of us on the show have been helping one customer at a time for the last 20 plus years. Mike's been more like 58 years, but most of us have been doing it for over 20 years.
Oh yeah.
Helping people one customer at a time. And I'm thinking years and years ago, I'm at a house and I'm helping this lady with questions about it was a crawl in an attic, and what should I do first, and how do I know? And I'm answering this question, and I'm like, there's so many other people with the same question. Like I just answered this yesterday and the day before. Yep. And that was one of the reasons that I kind of came up with this show, was there is so many people with problems in their houses that they don't even understand the problem that they have. Maybe not good enough to even ask a question. But if you get us close, you say, hey, I'm having this problem. I'm having this leak. I'm having this sound. I know a common one, is when heating and air conditioning is going from heat to cooling, you hear that big whoosh. But people are like, is that normal? Like, is that something that should happen? Is my house about to blow up? Ask any common question. Some may call it simple question but somebody else has the same question as you.
Yep,
By us helping you, we're actually helping thousands of listeners in the 757. But let me go ahead and I'm going to announce the phone number one more time, 627-7979. Remember, call in the front of the hour so we have time to get to all the callers and all the questions that you guys are going to call in. As we are introducing everybody, I am Chuck Worley. I'm the guy that is causing traffic problems with my 60, 70 green and orange, very bright and ugly green and orange trucks that block up traffic.
They're not ugly, man. They're sharp.
Jeff Wasmer sent a Facebook post to me the other day. So I figured out this traffic problem. These daggone trucks are everywhere. So the green and orange, you can't miss them. Worleys. Thank God my face isn't on them, so you don't crash.
Oh, that's a thought.
We do heating and air conditioning, ductwork, electrical, plumbing, crawl space encapsulation, spray foam insulation, and that's about it. I'll go ahead and introduce Albin. He's not here tonight, but he is our builder of the group. He pretty much does anything with wood. He can handle it, right? So
no doubt.
But I'll go ahead and let you guys. Oh, and then Jack with Legacy Painting. He's our young buck of the group. He's 25. Really proud of him. He just brought on his 8th employee about a month ago, and he is just killing it, man. I'm really proud of him.
He does excellent work too. I've recommended him for different people.
He said he's going to start doing maybe possibly starting to paint cabinets. So he's trying to put together a thing.
It's a good place to be.
Definitely, if you have any problems, small repairs, small sheetrock repairs, he can fix those. I will tell you, I can't tell exactly what company this is, but somebody I heard was working on a heat pump and a ductwork. I won't mention your company, Mike, but he stepped through,
right.
He stepped through the attic, and the customer's losing his mind. And So of course we got Jack out there the next day. He sheetrocked it, painted it, and they're like, "Oh my God, thank you. He was awesome." So of course we're going to take care of that, right?
Yeah,
so,
he's right on the ball.
I mean, when it's
really
150 degrees in the attic, I mean, it does get hot. So
yeah, that was on a cool day.
Yeah, so no kidding. So I'll let you guys introduce yourselves.
I'm Michael Davenport, myself, and Barry Taylor own CVP Windows and Doors. We're right here in Newport News, Virginia, but we service Richmond, Northern Neck, into Gloucester. We go all over Williamsburg, all the Hampton Roads cities, down in Elizabeth City, Outer Banks. We are a manufacturer. When you talk to us about wanting windows for your house, you're not talking to somebody that's going to buy them from a company in Ohio or Pennsylvania. We make them right here.
And wait 6 months
Unlike,
to get them.
or Maryland. Yeah.
Maryland is not
Now, Maryland is more local than St. Louis. I got to admit. I mean, but it's not considered what we consider local. We are the only local guys. And we make the windows right here. We get 20-foot lineals. We cut it. We weld it. We do it right there. And you're welcome to get a price from us. And we'll sit down and discuss, what we've done and how we've laid it out. Nobody's eating at your house. Nobody's spending the night because they want to get on you first thing in the morning. And then we want to invite you after they have a 30-minute review of what we're going to do to our manufacturing facility so that you can take a look at what we do, where the heart of the business is. Meet the team. Everybody there has a vested interest in what we do. People love to work there, and they come and they don't leave unless they're asked to leave. We have first quality people there all the time. We only have our people do the installs at your jobs. So that's very important to know because you don't want somebody that's not been vetted in your house. Now I'm going to turn it over to Cindy.
Hey, good evening, everybody. My name is Cindy Rowell. I'm the owner-operator of Alpha Pest Solutions, one of the few female-owned exterminating companies in our area. I think there's only one other one. My business has been going for 15 years. I have experience in the industry prior to that, so more than 20 years on the job. We are a full-service termite and moisture company. We do termites, we do moisture, we do powder post beetles, we do carpenter ants and bees, we do pest control, we do moisture barriers, we do dehumidifiers, sump pumps, we do everything that has to do with your house. So where do we go? We go up past Richmond. We'll go down to the Carolina border. I'll go out past Petersburg and past Matthews, past Saluda. We also do inspections when people are buying and selling their home. So if you're thinking about getting your house on the market and you want somebody to take a look at it before you put it on the market to see if it needs anything done to it, we're the people for that because all of my inspections are free. And I'm also, what am I, Chuck?
You are the only lady that I personally know that has a license to kill.
Exactly.
Just don't tell my wife that.
She knows.
It's only been 4 months. It's only been 4 months.
She knows. She doesn't need it yet, but she knows.
Hey, she's already told her that'd be on her.
Yeah.
It's a freebie.
Yeah.
It's a freebie.
Is that a freebie?
Yep.
Yeah. That's trying to build your clientele. That's
Right.
Nice. They say with friends like you. So
we definitely have a good time.
627-7979. Call in. Any questions, crawl spaces, windows, doors, any kind of questions you got about the house. We got experts on this show. Stump the expert. Try and call in, ask any questions about your house, not just heating and air, not just electrical, not just plumbing, crawl space, windows, wood, sheetrock, whatever. So while we're waiting on you guys to call in, 627-7979, I'm going to ask the question that I asked last week that my knucklehead self forgot to answer. So I know everybody came back this week wondering what this awesome trivia question is. So the Alternative Energy Corporation, a nonprofit organization in, I believe it's North Carolina, examined air conditioning cooling manufacturers' efficiencies. Like they tested in a 10 by 10 room, right? That's conditioned. Yeah.
Controlled environment.
Controlled environment. Thank you for the words. Versus the actual efficiencies after an installation of their thing. So what I'm saying is if you have a 20-SEER system installed that they tested in a laboratory in a 10 by 10 room in perfect conditions, what is the actual SEER rating of it after it's installed? So they're saying, what is the percentage of a perfect installation, right? So I'm going to give you the 4 bigs of why they found things that were not perfectly installed. Duct leakage, right?
Yep.
Oversizing of equipment,
Yeah,
Mhm.
definitely.
Mhm.
incorrect refrigerant charge, which we've been
Yep.
talking about Freon the last
Yep.
couple of weeks, and incorrect airflow, right? So 2 of them involve ductwork.
Mhm.
So,
Imagine that.
Yeah, it's yeah. So not everybody has ductwork. Now we got
It's
these
only
mini
as
splits
good as the
here.
install.
So, all right. So that is the trivia question. And what I'm looking for is the percentage of installation. So 100% of the installs, what is the percentage with those 4 problem occurrences? What is the percentage of perfectly installed systems that they tested?
I got a number, but I'm not going to say
It's
it.
high. Don't guess low.
Oh, I'm not.
Yeah. Okay. All right. It looks like we got a caller. Thank you, Jason, for calling in. Again, while we're on the call with him, 627-7979. Call in with your questions in the beginning of the hour, not the end.
Yeah, that's always a good
Uh,
idea.
Yeah.
Yep.
So let's say, Jason, can I put
Yes, sir.
a hammer? Can I put a hammer near my water heater? Maybe Mike might be drinking
I
tonight
think
when
we
he's
got a
typing.
word that's getting us here. Say what your question
say what
is,
your question
Jason.
is.
So I got some water hammer issues.
Okay. That
okay,
makes sense.
yes.
Copper pipe, plumbing pipe,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
Yeah, obviously it's water hammer when the hot water comes on. Wondering if I can put a hammer arrestor closer to my water heater versus crawling through the crawl space.
So on our new installations, we put ballast tanks
Right on top of the water.
right on top of the water heater at the highest, one of the highest peaks, I guess, in the water supply line. Is it?
How old is your house?
Yeah, that's a great question.
Built in '92.
That's why you got a problem. Yeah.
Is-
Yeah. I mean,
That's-
it wasn't
that's-
nothing wrong then.
92
It's required by
pets? Or,
code now. It wasn't required by code in
Yeah.
92.
You have
And
questions?
There's no expansion
Well,
tank now.
He could have a plastic pipe of some type, but he just said he had copper.
Oh, he did have copper.
Mhm.
Okay,
Yeah,
I
he
did
said
hear
that.
that. My headset is not. My headset was not on, so my wife said I'm losing my hearing or just starting to ignore her more.
Probably
Yeah.
ignore her.
Yeah. Convenient listening.
Yeah,
Mhm,
that's right. That's what they call it. Yeah. So, yeah, I would definitely recommend putting a tank on top.
Yeah. A cushion tank on top of it. It will absorb the pressure changes, and that should solve your problem. And Worley's can do that for you.
Yeah, we could definitely.
Where's your water tank at, or your hot water tank?
In the garage, 2-story home.
Okay. Well, you're in good shape.
yeah,
That should take care of your issue.
yeah, that's the
'Cause it can
most,
be
the most
aggravating.
common. I mean, sometimes you do have to put those in other places, but my butt doesn't want to go underneath a crawl space.
Why
Plus, you
not?
can't, inspect it, and it's just easier to put it. But all of our brand new water heaters that we put on, it's just part of our job.
Standard
So people are
operating
like,
procedure.
well, will it be cheaper if I don't put that on? I said, I don't know, because I'm not doing
Goes,
that.
yeah, exactly. There are some
I mean, I'm
things
sure
in life
some, fly by
cheaper-
night
you
will,
just
but
don't do it.
It'd be
That-
it's
cheaper
just
than a
because it's
tankless,
the
but a
right thing to
tankless would be
do.
better.
God forbid I put a water heater in. You never had hammering before, and I put a new water heater in. Now it's my fault. So,
yeah.
if
Well,
I put it in and do the right job, and that's what I would do at my house. So, of course, I'm.
Yeah,
gonna,
it's like
do it at
CVP windows
yours.
and doors. We normally always put in fiberglass doors, and we always put in the frame rot resistant jams frame saver. And if somebody says, well, I don't want to spend the extra few bucks for the frame saver jam, we tell, well, you can go to Lowe's and probably get the door and be really happy. And then in 3 years, when that door is gone, you can call us back and say, golly day, I guess you guys were trying to set me straight. But we just won't do that. If it's bad for you, it's bad for us, because you be telling people not that we recommend it against a standard pine door, you'd be telling people, oh, they put that door in there and it rotted out in 3 years.
Right.
Yeah.
That normally rots out because you don't keep the door caulked, you don't keep it painted, and you use one that doesn't have frame saver jam.
Yeah. How old is your water heater, Jason?
It's replaced probably less than 2 years ago.
Okay.
Mm.
So see, was it hammering before? It's just getting worse.
It was hammering before.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So that should have been brought up, I guess. But I know
Yeah,
it's part of our standard.
home warranty
Lord
company
Jesus. You're lucky
replaced it,
that thing
so that
ain't
was-
leaking. So how's your experience with the home warranties?
No longer.
Yes. Yeah. That's the typical thing that we hear. And people ask me about home warranties all the time. It's really great for the only person it's great for is the
People collecting the money.
the realtor. Well, yeah. Okay. There's two
Two people it's great
that
for.
it's really good for. So one is the person selling it. The second one is a realtor. It says, hey, peace of mind, 12 months. You don't have anything to worry about. Yeah. You don't have anything to worry about unless you want to spend 8 hours on a phone trying to get $130 for a service call.
They're hoping
You
you'll
know?
pass away while you're on the phone.
That
might be it.
They do. I will tell you, the only person that I ever had is a sweet old lady in Hampton. She's about 70 years old, sweetest lady in the world. Her daughter was an attorney, right, in DC. But this old lady was dogmatic. She goes, "I will get my money." I said, "Ma'am, you're a great customer. I just want to be kind to you. I don't want to be, but I can't. I have to be honest with you. You're never getting your money." Like, they told me they were going to write me a check. I said, I just hate, like, I don't want to be, dude. She had her daughter write letters to this, like every month, every week. And damn, if she didn't send me a copy of a check for $5,000.
Yep.
Wow.
If you stay on them, but it's a full-time job.
You have to do that.
It's a full-time job. And it was, I will tell you this, it was probably 9 months later when she emailed me a picture of the check. It was like 9 months later. I'm like, but she was retired. She didn't have anything else to do. So she just called them every day.
Well, I can
But yeah,
tell you.
the home warranty companies are tough.
Well, they are home warranty companies, and we all have insurance, and we all need insurance. But if you really want to get money from your insurance company, don't take the first quote. If you got a water damage or whatever. A good buddy of Chuck and mine's and Cindy's, Jim Hicks, he is the premier man for getting an insurance company to pay what needs to be paid to get your home back in order. And
100%,
I got a situation at my mother-in-law's house that happened in Richmond, and he's going to work through that and get it straight for me. And he said the first number is somewhere between 35 and 40%. And they're hoping you'll grab that.
Let's talk about the goal of an insurance company. What is their primary goal?
I know. To collect premiums and build tall buildings, and hope you can't get over it in a single bound.
Yeah.
There you go.
Raise your rates every 6 months if they can.
Not to pay money. It's I mean, it is what it is. That's just part of their business. But yeah, Jason, thank you for the call. Do you have any other issues in the house that you were wondering about?
No, all good. Thank you. Love your show.
Hey,
thank you, man.
A lot. I appreciate the kind
tell
words.
everybody
Appreciate you calling.
Call next week with another question.
Yeah, that's right. Come on with
I'll
another
call back
question.
in 5 minutes.
But
But I will
and
tell you, Jason, thank you for calling, because there are more than one person in Hampton Roads that have had that problem.
Yep.
You know,
So some people may not know what the hammering.
that's a great.
Yeah. So why don't you tell us what that is, so that people are like, well, I don't know if mine's doing that or not.
It's just the water pressure building up in the systems. We will hear it in more in boiler piping than we will just normal piping, if that makes sense. So, and boiler piping, because it's getting hot, it's steam,
So it's like radiators.
It's like radiators, right? So old Norfolk houses and
Virginia
like
Tech.
Yeah, it's. I bet. Yeah. They probably didn't have air conditioning back then.
I had an apartment up there, my senior year, and it would get so hot you had no thermostat. It was either on or off. So I turned the radiator off, and that you couldn't sleep in that place. Bam, bam. I mean, it'd make you crazy. So yeah, it is very bothersome, and understand Jason's issue and what have you.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people have that problem. They just think like there's low pressure ones that you'll just hear it barely, and you're like, what the heck was that? Was that like? And it's just I mean, it sounds like knocking, like it's just a buildup in the pipes and the pressure and hitting up against the wall, or it's irritating if you know what it is and you don't know how to fix it, right? So
without a doubt.
but yeah, we hear it on boiler pipes, and when we replace boilers, which we're one of the very few companies out here to still mess with boilers. Not everybody likes them, but we love them. I mean, I've got a couple boiler techs.
I think we should play a game for next week and have a contest that people got to say where they saw it and what have you. Let's have a contest that people call in and say, oh, I saw 4 Worley's Home Services trucks in a day. And then you tell the intersection, because I mean, I saw 3 on Monday in my travels, and that'd be an interesting contest.
That'd be interesting. Who saw the most?
Who saw the most Worley trucks?
I'm all over the place.
Yeah,
I'm all over the place all the time, and my average per day is 3.
That'll be the
well, the one guy I talked to, I said, oh, what do you do for Worley's? He said, I'm just a driver, man. He gives me $20 an hour, and I drive it around town every time.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Yeah, it's
that's a story. That ain't a true story.
We do have delivery guys, that's for sure. It's a lot getting these
you
jobs
might
done.
see my big trucks driving around. CVP windows and doors. We like to say we got 2 big panel trucks, or 26 footers that deliver product from Richmond up in the northern neck and all over town. And we're not the Flash. We're more the red, white, and blue. That's our colors, and that's where we're backing the. But it is Hampton Roads is home for all of us. Mm-hmm. All of us are from Hampton Roads. Chuck kind of moved around some. His dad was in the Navy, so Chuck wasn't always here.
I got here in 6th grade. I think I should be able to.
Well, wait a minute. Did I say were you born here?
Nope.
Yeah, I'm the only local. You moved.
I was born in
so
Germany. Yeah, my dad was military. I was born in Germany. Went to high school in Germany.
Well, I'm the only one that lived here from the beginning. If you want a local guy, you got to talk to me. Alvin's bound to have been born here. Jack's not old enough to have moved anywhere.
That's right. He's definitely from here. He grew up in Yorktown. He went to.
My mother's Native American Indian, so I was here before all y'all.
That's true.
That's true. I'm just saying.
All right, so I want to remind you guys, 627-7979. Jason had a great question that we answered for him. Hopefully he's calling Worley so we can knock that out for him this week or next week. So, but 627-7979, if you have any questions about your house, problems that you're having in your house, I've got a couple that friends of mine have texted me some questions. I got one on Facebook. He said, how much time do we have? Okay. We only got a minute left, so I'm not going to get into those questions. I will remind you that by calling in, Jason's going to get a gift certificate or gift card, and I'm going to remind you of the question: Alternative Energy Corporation, a nonprofit organization, examined air conditioning conditioners, the efficiencies versus the installed efficiencies of the units, and the percentage I'm looking for is the percentage that did not hit the standard, right? So the units tested that exhibited some sort of energy wasting, comfort robbing problem. So that's what we're looking for. What is that percentage? And please do not guess low, because it's extremely high. It's going to take me 5 minutes just to tell you all the problems that we run into. It's pretty bad. So, all right. So thank you. 627-7979. We will see you in a few minutes. This is Chuck Worley with the 757 House Whisperer Show. want you guys to call in. You got me, Mike, and Cindy in here tonight. We're going to introduce ourselves while we're waiting for y'all to call in. We had a great caller today about hammering pipes. That's always a negative in a house. 757-627-7979. Call in, ask any questions about your house. We got the experts here. Try and stump the experts, right? So I am Chuck Worley. I own Worley's Home Services. I do heating and air conditioning, ductwork, electrical, plumbing, crawl space encapsulations, and spray foam insulation.
My name is Michael Davenport. Myself and my partner, Barry Taylor, own CVP Windows and Doors. We are a window manufacturer, and we distribute and install Therma-Tru doors as well. We are the only guys in the Hampton Roads area that actually make the windows that would go in your house. We get the lineals, we cut them, we weld them, and we install them with our own guys. We do not farm that out to somebody else. Some people claim to make the windows locally, but windows made in Maryland are, well, it's more local than St. Louis would be. So I guess it's not a misconception. It's just a territorial issue. I'd like to mention also Alvin of Alvin Co. He is a builder extraordinary. He took Chuck's house apart and put it back together, and it is a beautiful place. I had breakfast there last Friday. The place looks great. And Alvin
had some fresh eggs.
And we had fresh eggs
They
from
were still
Chuck's.
warm.
Yeah, it was eggs that the snake didn't get.
Well, the snake,
And,
I had a 5-foot snake in there.
Yeah, Chuck made a nice work up there. And we had a good time discussing life in general. And then Jack Keller, he's a young buck of the group. As Chuck just said, he has got 8 people now working for him. He's very attentive to detail. He does drywall repairs. So you don't have to get a drywall guy in there to do touch-ups before you get your house painted. He'll come in, he moves things around, he drapes them out. 4 people that I've recommended have all given him very high ratings. And one guy who's an engineer said that he really liked the way Jack disassembled his fence, put it back together when he was painting it. And if an engineer gives you a kudo, that's really high rating because those guys really know their stuff.
Facts. That is fact.
Good evening. I'm Cindy Rowell, owner operator of Alpha Pest Solutions. We are a full service termite and moisture company. The bug season is in full bloom out there. You name it. If it creeps and crawls, it's going on right now. Spiders, roaches, centipedes, millipedes, anything. Yeah, anything that you can think of is going on out there. If you're looking for someone who can get rid of the problem, can find the problem first, identify what the problem is, where it's coming from, and take care of it, give me a call because I do that all day long.
I got to ask you a question now.
Okay.
Centipede, millipede things that are about 3 or 4 inches long, and then they croak inside. How do they get in people's houses?
They get around pipes and stuff like that. So if you've got, I always tell people, look around your home. So if you can look through the pipes, and if you can see daylight, then you know that you've got an entry point. So take some spray foam or something like that. I use copper mesh first and then put spray foam in there, and then nothing's going to get in through that. But anything like that, those little entry points, and they don't need.
Can they come down a chimney?
Yes.
That's where they're getting in.
Yes.
Because my house is foamed out all around my exterior penetrations. I got crawl space encapsulation by Worley's, but I'd never thought about the chimney. Man, them guys don't mind heights. They don't even use a ladder to just climb up the side. And normally the family room is where we find them.
And that's always why we'll tell you, any good pest control company will tell you to keep trees, bushes, and all that trimmed back away from your home. A tree is overhanging on your house. It's easy for anything, even rats, even roof rats, to get into your house.
But, I hope my wife's listening tonight. I got an answer for that question she's been after me about.
And being a infiltration guy, like heat and cooling infiltration through a house, spray foam seals everything, right? So
it does.
That's one of the things when we're doing attic installations. We're putting R50 insulation back in, but we suck everything out and seal everything with spray foam around recessed can lights, around pull down staircases, around all that stuff. But chimneys, this is wild, but some chimneys are framed out so wide that you can look to the crawl space.
Yep.
Wow.
You can see the crawl space
Yep.
standing in the attic
Yep.
next to the chimney, looking straight down. It's 12-inch gap
Yeah.
all the way down to
Yep.
the bottom.
Golly, day in the
So
morning.
ask me a question. You have rats
Anything.
in the crawl,
Oh,
and then all of a sudden I
they got an
rats in my
expressway
attic.
to the
They
attic.
got an expressway all the way up.
Yep.
So
Yep.
that's a great thing if anybody ever has
That's
any
actually
issues with
One of the
roof
main
rats.
places to
And
look
then I
for.
got roof rats in my crawl space. No, you don't. How's that possible? You do, because they have a runway
Yep.
right next to your
Just a
chimney.
travel path.
So if you hear stuff in the walls, you hear scratching in the walls and stuff right next to the chimney, especially. So what we typically do is put plywood and metal, sheet metal, fasten it to the chimney, fasten it to the framing.
I got a topic I want to bring up that goes between me and you, and that is your relative humidity inside your house. I once had someone that I built a house for in Gloucester, and Bill had a friend that wanted to do the HVAC. And so I looked at what the guy was going to do, and I had gotten a calculation from Mr. Worley that showed on the first floor of this house, he didn't need but 2 tons. And on the second floor, he needed 1.5 tons. And this guy's friend comes in and says, well, if 2 ton works, then 3.5 should work better on the first floor. And upstairs where it was 1.5 tons, he got 2.5. And so in the middle of July, he says, man, you got to get over here because you got a problem with your house. I said, what do you mean? And he said, I'm freezing and I'm wet. And I don't know, it's something about the way you insulate it or something. And I said, well, let me get over there. So I went over there, and it was doing what's called a short cycle.
Yep.
Your
Compressor
AC
is not running long enough to pull the humidity out of the house before
Exactly.
it gets to the set temperature.
And so you got freezing cold because you got oversized equipment. It's not running long enough, like Chuck said. So your definition of it's not running long enough is you don't see water dripping out of your overflow line. And so you don't have no water coming out. The moisture staying in the house, and it's uncomfortable. Your bed sheets, your clothes,
I cannot
everything.
tell you how many times in the last 20 plus years that I've been doing this, that I have had other competitors, which I won't mention names, but there's a bunch of them out there that, especially now, they're all owned by people from New York, New Jersey, Florida, Miami,
Texas.
Yeah.
Texas. Texas is a big one.
Yeah.
Everybody's getting bought out. I will tell you, Worley's is not. So we are staying local. We've got a legacy company. My son's 30 years old. He runs the show. And I do fun stuff like this, right? So get people to call us, So I'm the face of the company, which is not always a positive thing because I don't have a great face. I have a face for radio, right?
Yeah. We
all do.
I can't tell you how many people are like, well, man, that guy said he's going to give me a 3 ton for a 2 ton price. And I'm like,
You didn't do you a favor.
Well,
He
I
had
mean,
excess.
There's a reason. There's no free lunch in this world.
No,
Right?
there
There's-
isn't.
The guy doesn't know what he's doing. He's selling you something that's not going to work. Well, why don't you give me a 3 ton? I said, I don't care what the price is. I'm not putting a 3
Don't
ton.
need it.
You could pay me twice what I'm putting a 2 ton in. You could pay me twice what it is for a 3 ton, and I'm walking away from this job. I did it to a guy in Williamsburg. He spray foamed his entire house, roof deck, crawl space,
Changes everything.
everything. The basement, it was probably 4,000, less than 4,000 square foot. The biggest unit I put was a 5 ton unit, and I was putting a thermostat on the first floor in the basement, which that AC I never run, right?
Yeah.
Second floor, master bedroom, and his third floor. So he had like a 2-story house with a basement. So 5 tons was plenty of air conditioning. I think it was a 4,500 square foot house. Yeah, it was almost 5,000 square foot house. I said 5 tons. He goes, 5 tons? That's insane. That's never going to be enough air conditioning. I said, bro, I got to put mechanical air in. Like I have to put a fresh air ventilator into the house to bring hot air in so that I could keep this unit running long enough to keep the humidity down in your house. That's crazy. He ended up putting 10 tons of air conditioning
Oh,
in.
man.
3 years later, random call. His wife called a whole bunch of companies because the guy that put the 10 tons in is
No
gone.
longer
He will
around.
not answer the phone. He's got a
Imagine
block.
that.
So she doesn't know. So she calls me. I come over. He shows up at the house. And I'm walking through the house, and she had already showed me the whole house. And I walked back out, and he said, "Don't you dare say it." He remembered me. He freaking remembered me from 3 years ago when I told him I am not, because I was referred
Then
to
I
him.
would have just said, I told you so.
I'm not doing it, but I wanted to, man. And I'm talking, when I say dripping, I mean drip marks down the paint in every single room in this house. It was sweating profusely. And
You probably had damages going on
oh
too.
my gosh, man.
Oh,
And
yeah.
and it was going on from the first summer.
You
Like
get
the
mold
first summer.
developing in
Yep.
your closets and stuff when all that
Yep.
stuff goes
Yep.
down.
Mold that comes up. So anyway, so what are we talking about? Bigger is not better when it comes to air conditioning. When we do CAD drawings, load calculations, I know the rotation of the house. I know whether your front and the back of the house with the glass, with the sunroom on the back of the house is facing east, west. I know whether it needs 100 CFM in that bedroom or 300 CFM in that bedroom. We do CAD drawings, load calculations. We dial it in, especially when we're putting at ductwork. You have to do it room by room,
Yeah.
load calculation. And if you're
Yeah.
having problems like that, that's probably
And
what's
today you
happening.
got to have an air return into each room. They want that
Well,
balance
now,
to be good.
now the returns, the ductwork, because we pull permits on everything. In Newport News, I think it's the city, it requires a return in every bedroom.
Yeah.
which
So does
It
Hampton.
sucks for the homeowner
Yeah.
because it's just more expense.
More
But
filters,
you don't
everything.
really have to have it,
Mhm.
but it's unfortunately it's code. So
Yeah.
but will it be better? Yes. Will it make the house more efficient and more balanced? Yes. But it is a bigger cost to the homeowner. So it kind of sucks. But we do have a call. Do have a caller coming in, Mr. Scott from Matthews, and I've got a couple of people on Facebook. I got some questions that I'm going to get to you, Mike, and a couple other questions by text. So thank you guys for asking these questions. Remember, 627-7979. We got about 10 minutes left, so call in now if you want to get your question in for the end of the hour. And let's go, Scott in Matthews.
Matthews County. But yeah, I got several questions. I've got like a 200-year-old house. It's kind of the colonial style, government style house, and I'm 50 years old, a little plus, and I'm doing a 25-year escape plan. Either I'll live or die, but the house is safe for this thing. But I need to like put roofing on, do some drying out, and a bunch of stuff on the house. Is it better to piecemeal that out over 3 years, or is it better just to hire one contract and get it done with and not deal with it?
That depends on your patience level.
Yeah.
Okay.
Me at 56, I hired, and again, I know literally 100 builders. Like I could make in my Rolodex and my cell phone, I could probably call 50 builders, and I chose Albin. And the reason I chose Albin is because he's a GC that's not a paper contractor. He is going to be on the job site. He has got 8 employees. So they do 90% of the work in-house. And before, he's not subbing out to the cheapest bidders and all that stuff. So 90% of what he does is in-house. So he's not doing 50 houses a year. He's focused on his job. So I personally, but he'll do a job at a time for you, though. If you just want the roof done, or you want sheetrock done, or you want, but me and my wife, we're 55 and 56. We wanted back in our house in 6 months. So we literally gutted a 1,500 square foot house. I mean, moved the bathroom where the kitchen is, the kitchen where the bathroom was, a bedroom. We went down to 2 bedrooms instead of 3 bedrooms because we don't want kids moving back. So, so I'm like, oh, sorry, you could stay on the couch. It's a pull out. Like, so we made it very obvious. We have an office and a master bedroom. So,
And no revolving door.
there is no revolving doors here. So I'm just kidding. We have successful kids, all college grads and stuff. So I will, we got your information. So I will text you Albin's information, and you can call it.
Yeah. How old's the house again?
200.
About 200 years old.
What kind of windows you got in it?
Half replacements and getting them there, doing about 5 at a time. It was like 30 windows originally.
Wow.
Well,
Yeah, but
I we may not be able to help you if you're just piecemeal, and not that we wouldn't do that, but you don't want all the
Yeah.
windows to be, you want them to be the same. But we do
Oh,
a
most
lot of
definitely,
stuff like
Michelle.
that. The windows, we've done windows in Kings Mill. They're real particular about what they let people do. Ford's Colony all the time. We did one for a guy. Now his house wasn't 200 years old, but it did. It was built in 1868, and he actually sold all of the sashes in the house and the windows. He sold them to a guy that who picked them up, and then sold them to a lady that did artwork, and they paint on those windows.
Oh, man.
Yeah. He said,
funny.
I told him, I said, I said, you want to save your sashes? And he said, oh yeah. Like, you're not going to take them away for me? I said, I'll take them. But I mean, I thought you might want to sell them. He said, you can sell these? I said, yeah. I said, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put it on Facebook and sell them because it has these defects in the glass.
Right.
Mhm.
And
right.
the artist
Oh, yeah.
people love it. They painted on the back of the sash.
That's how he's going to pay for his roof.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, yeah.
And then
Well,
some.
he should, because this guy, he had
Right.
48 windows, and each one of them had 2 sashes, and he got $50 a piece for them.
Okay.
And I said, that's cool. And I said, what did the guy do with them? Was he an artist? He said, no, but he did tell me, because I promised him I wouldn't get upset with what he was paying me, that he sold each one of those sashes for a $1.25
Yep.
to a lady that was an artist in St. Michael's Island up in Maryland.
Yep.
And he said he picked them up for me at 8:00 on a Saturday morning. He said he had his money in his hand by 3:00 Saturday afternoon.
Yeah. That
Yeah.
is funny. So, all right. Well, thank you, Scott, for the call. And yeah, those old houses they are a lot of fun. I mean, I have a 1936 house, and that was a lot of fun that we.
But it's not
learned on that.
1936
It is-
anymore.
it
It's
is.
had a facelift.
It has.
It
had
looks
a
much
face.
younger.
Yes.
She does look younger. She does look younger. So, but yeah, so let's go. I got a couple questions on Facebook Live here,
Don't forget your trivia question.
and I will not forget my trivia. I will not do it this week. I know
Again.
y'all been waiting for 2 weeks.
I
for
know. I
this
want to know the answer to
right?
this.
So, and daggone it. Hey, is Scott still on? No, he's gone. I was like, Scott will take a shot at it, but I forgot. I'll let you guys take shots at it. So, all right. So when do you replace your air filters? What are your thoughts if it doesn't look dirty? And should I just go in additional months if it looks dirty? So we do get this question a whole lot.
Yeah, dirty air filters drops the efficiency.
Yeah, it does. So, I mean, the real answer is there's a way to check it with static pressure, and you can, figure out how, but y'all don't have all those cool tools that we do. I personally like media filters. I don't like electronic air cleaners. Sorry, manufacturers, I'm never going to get a sponsor for a manufacturer because I'm putting down their air
Sometimes they're
cleaners.
telling the truth to do that to you.
It gets down to 2 microns. It's the problem is it breaks, right? It's electric. It's, with a media filter, when it gets dirty, I pull it out and I put a new one back in.
Yep.
And with the media filters, you can check the static pressure in the ductwork, and you can see, put a clean one in, static pressure
Better
goes
flow.
down. Put a dirty one in, and the static pressure goes up. So that's the great way to
Yep.
see if you need to check the filter. But the media filters are normally timed 6 months, 9 months, and stuff.
Yeah.
So I always cheated, and I'd spray mine out with the air hose, and get another couple months out of it. But you can't always see the dirt. I mean, there is buildup on the thing. So
Yeah.
obviously I've seen them. I just saw one on
You
Facebook
gotta
the other
remember.
day. It looked like it
Oh,
looked
yeah.
like a fur, like a
It-
cat. Like
yeah.
it was like,
Well, you get to the point where you end up being Chuck's buddy, because when your equipment quits operating properly and he sends his man out there, the first thing they probably do is check your air filter. And I have seen, say what?
Power to the unit.
Oh, yeah. Well, excuse me. You're right. Power to the unit. And does the thermostat operate properly?
Yeah. Is there power?
Then
to
when the unit
thermostat?
comes
Yeah.
on, you look for the filter, because if the filter is like a brown color, that's a warning sign. And if it's sucked in, it got a little bow inside like a bowl, that's a big warning sign, because you're not getting any air. It's trying to suck that thing right through there. So what is,
I was looking for time. 3
Oh,
minutes.
you got 3.
So we got a couple minutes left. I do want to shout out to Bonnie Chamberlain watching us on Facebook. Take care of Howard. We got a whole bunch of people on Facebook Live watching us tonight. So, all right. So I am going to take a few minutes to go through this explanation of this question. It probably wasn't a clear question, but Alternative Energy Corporation, a nonprofit organization, examined air conditioner manufacturer efficiencies versus the actual efficiencies after the resulted installation. The duct leakage, over 93% of the systems they tested had poor indoor air quality, health and safety concerns, drafts and uneven temperatures, and has a potential of doubling the HVAC bill. Oversizing was 47% of the systems that they tested. Doesn't run long enough. Equipment is typically noisier, frequent short cycling, cost the homeowner 15% more to operate it because it's oversized, because the compressor keeps, cutting on. Incorrect refrigerant charge. This is a scary percentage. 54% of their tested units, 54% were oversized.
Man,
that's a big number. That can cost you 17% more to operate. Incorrect airflow. 70% of the units that they tested, 70%. So what incorrect airflow means, hot spots and cold spots in the house, uneven temperatures, poor moisture control, noisy grills and registers, and that can add up to 10% to your bill. So 10%, 17%, 12% to your bill. All of a sudden, you're costing you twice as much to run your air conditioner as it should. So the answer is 90% of all the units tested exhibited some sort of energy wasting, comfort robbing problem.
I was going to say 80%.
You were going to say 80? Yeah, that shocked me when I said that. But when I saw all the descriptions, I was like, oh yeah, we see that all the time.
Why don't we go back through, Cindy? Let's cut who you are. We're running out of time.
Cindy Rowell,
30 seconds.
Cindy Rowell, owner operator, Alpha Pest Solutions.
Michael Davenport, CVP Windows and Door. Bear Tail and I have this company local, and got Jack with Legacy Paint.
30 and I'm Chuck Worley with Worley's Home Services. Thank you all for listening.
Alvin.
So thank you, Lord. Yeah, we got it all in. See you guys. Thank you. We'll see you next week.
Next week.
The preceding program was sponsored and paid for by Worley Home Services, who's entirely responsible for its content.